Some people don't just dislike jeans, they actively avoid them. No matter how popular they are, no matter how normal they seem, they try them once, maybe twice, and then quietly stop wearing them. Not because they don't look good, but because something about them never feels right. And that reaction is not random. It reflects how they respond to structure, pressure, and constant physical feedback. Jeans are one of the most socially accepted clothing items. They work almost everywhere: casual, semi-formal, daily wear. They fit into most environments without question, which is exactly why avoiding them becomes interesting. Because when something fits everywhere, rejecting it is rarely accidental. Now, think about the material itself. Denim is not soft by nature. It is thicker, heavier, and more resistant compared to most fabrics. It holds shape. It doesn't fully adapt. It stays structured even when your body moves. This creates a very specific kind of experience. Instead of clothing disappearing into your body becomes aware of the clothing, and that awareness repeats. When you sit, you feel it. When you walk, you feel it. When you bend, you feel it. Nothing extreme, just consistent. For many people, this consistency fades into the background. Their brain filters it out. But for others, it never fully disappears. It stays present as a subtle signal. And repeated signals always demand attention. Even if that attention is small, it accumulates over time. Now, be honest. Do you wear jeans comfortably, or do you avoid them whenever you can? Write jeans or avoid in the comments. Now let's go deeper into movement. Jeans don't move exactly with your body. They resist slightly. That resistance changes how movement feels. You don't just move, you move with awareness. And for some people, that awareness becomes tiring, because natural movement becomes monitored movement. Instead of sitting freely, you adjust. Instead of bending naturally, you think about it. Instead of relaxing completely, you stay slightly controlled. This is not always conscious, but it is experienced. People who avoid jeans often prefer movement that feels automatic. They don't want to manage how they sit or how they move. They want it to happen without effort. And when clothing interferes with that, even slightly, they notice. Now, let's talk about pressure. Denim creates small pressure points around the waist, around the knees, around areas that bend frequently. Again, nothing extreme, but constant. And constant pressure changes how the body feels over time. For some people, this becomes background noise. For others, it becomes distraction. And distraction, even at a low level, reduces mental clarity. People who avoid jeans often prioritize clarity without realizing it. They remove small distractions so their attention can stay stable. If you want to explore more about human behavior, hit like and subscribe. Now here's something that might trigger disagreement. People who don't like jeans are often told, "You'll get used to it." And that's true. Most people can adapt to discomfort, but adaptation doesn't mean optimization. Just because you can tolerate something doesn't mean it's the best choice for you. And some people don't see value in adapting to something that never feels natural. So instead of forcing adaptation, they choose removal. Now let's go deeper into structure versus flexibility. Jeans represent structure. They hold form. They maintain shape. They stay consistent regardless of movement. This can feel stable to some people, but to others, it feels rigid. And rigidity, even in small forms, can feel limiting. People who avoid jeans often prefer flexibility over fixed structure. They prefer environments, systems, and even clothing that adapt to them, not the other way around. This preference is not just about comfort. It reflects a broader pattern. They tend to avoid unnecessary restriction in general, not just physically, but mentally as well. Now let's talk about habit. Jeans are often worn out of convenience. They are a default option. You don't need to think much. You just wear them. But people who avoid jeans don't rely on defaults. They rely on experience. If something consistently feels slightly off, they remember it, and they don't repeat it. This creates a different decision system, not based on what is common, but based on what actually works for them. And over time, this builds consistency. Now here's another layer. Jeans create a specific visual identity. They look structured, defined, sharp in a subtle way. But not everyone wants that kind of identity. Some people prefer a softer presence, less defined, less rigid. They don't want to feel visually held in a certain shape. They prefer flexibility in how they appear and how they feel. Now think about energy again. Every small adjustment, Every slight restriction, every moment of awareness takes energy. Not a lot at once, but continuously. And over time, that continuous drain becomes noticeable. People who avoid jeans often recognize this pattern indirectly. They notice that when they don't wear them, they feel lighter, more relaxed, less distracted. And once that difference is felt clearly, it becomes difficult to ignore. So they stop choosing them. Now here's the deeper insight. Avoiding jeans is not just about fabric. It is about how a person interacts with structure and resistance. Some people accept structure easily. Others become aware of it instantly. And once that awareness becomes clear, it changes behavior, because awareness drives preference, and preference drives habit, and habit eventually becomes identity. So, what looks like a simple clothing choice is actually part of a larger pattern. A pattern of reducing friction, reducing unnecessary pressure, and choosing ease where possible. And once you see that pattern, it becomes consistent across different areas of life. We'll explore that in upcoming videos.